Presenting What's in a Letter? Everything. Ben Jonson was likely the principal editor of the first folio. He is most well known for his poem, To the Memory of My Beloved, the Author, Mr. William Shakespeare and What He Had Left Us. Today I'm going to be looking at this couplet. Sweet Swan of Avon, what a sight it were to see thee in our waters yet appear. When I first read this and first saw this in facsimile, I made a mistake when reading sight. Most particularly, I misread this first letter. I was misled because waters and a few other words in these two couplets have lowercase s's that we're familiar with. And that filed or filled on the couplet above it has a lowercase f. Visually, filled and sight are directly above each other. And going by a very poor bit-traced graphic, you can see how anyone in a worn copy of the book could mistake the FI for an SI and vice versa. Therefore, I read this line as, what a fight it were. I believe Jonson meant this to be an ambiguous reading of the word because it was a fight. It was a fight to collect the manuscripts. It was a fight to edit the plays. It was a fight to get the printer to do the job according to instructions. It was a fight to find investors willing to front the money. Such an expensive book was a risky venture. If they would not recover any of their expenses, that would mean they lost all. And finally, it was a fight to find an engraver to do the frontispiece according to the complex instructions that the editors and publishers wanted. What a fight it were. Now I'm going to present more proof this Avon was not a river. This is a companion to Alexander Waugh's videos that include Ben Jonson New. This is the famous scholar and historian William Camden. This is the title page to his most famous book, Britannia, published first in Latin in 1600, which is a history of kings and the reigns of England, Scotland, and Ireland. As Waugh pointed out, Camden has a section which refers to Hampton Court. He quotes the Latin verse of this poet, John Leland. Translated by Philemon Holland in 1610 under Camden's own supervision, the Latin is, a stately place for rare and glorious show there is, which Thames with wandering stream doth douse. Times past by name of Avon men it knew. Here Henry the Eighth of that name built an house so sumptuous, as that on such an one, seek through the world, the bright sun never shone. The first phrase is an example of anastrophe in which the last two words could easily be at the beginning of the line. There is a stately place for rare and glorious show. He also says, times past by name of Avon men it knew, which really means, in times past, men knew it by the name of Avon. He makes it known that Avon is not a river in Warwickshire because directly above it he mentions the River Thames. And that's exactly where Avon is located. Jonson, in his poem, reverses the order by putting Sweet Swan of Avon before the banks of Thames. And he makes even more important. By using an exclamation point, he draws readers' attention to not only Avon, but our waters and Thames. And of course, Queen Elizabeth and James I would never have been at the Globe Theatre. Commoners did not mingle with nobility and vice versa except under extraordinary circumstances or when commoners were servants of the nobility. That means William Camden meant that Hampton Court Palace had a great hall named Avon. This is how it looks today. And there are also plays performed before students and tourist groups even now. Jonson studied under Camden, who died in 1623. Is this a mere coincidence? Here is epigram 14 from Jonson's 1616 folio of his works. To William Camden. Camden, most reverend head, to whom I owe all that I am in arts, all that I know. How nothing's that? To whom my country owes the great renown, and name wherewith she goes. Than thee the age sees not that thing more grave, more high, more holy, that she more would crave. What name, what skill, what faith hast thou in things? What sight in searching the most antique springs? What weight and what authority in thy speech? Man scarce can make that doubt, but thou canst teach. Pardon free truth, and let thy modesty, which conquers all, be once overcome by thee. Many of thine this better could than I, but for their powers accept my piety. Jonson revered his tutor. And what better way to honor his tutor than to quote from Britannia in his poem from the 1623 First Folio. What a fight it were to get this book to print. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.